Hi guys, I'm Rikku Ó'Donnchü, and in this series we're going to be exploring the classic dish done in a new way. We're going to compare the two. We're going to find out finally which one's the better. Is it the classic version of these dishes we've come to love over the years, or is it these modern, cultural, diverse versions of the same thing? We're also going to be visiting a few restaurants to find out from the chefs themselves what they think about that particular style of cooking and what they do to mix up the classic with the new, or whether they keep it classic themselves. This is our culinary culture. So today we're going to be exploring the custard tart. Why the custard tart? Because there's a few variations floating around in different cultures all around the world, and I've been exposed to two of them in particular, outside of my own obviously, the South African milk tart and the egg flan in the US. So the difference being cinnamon and nutmeg. The British version of the egg custard tart, nutmeg on top, not incorporated through. It's a much wobblier consistency. It's much more like the classic anglaise custard, and it's on a sweet pastry base, opposed to biscuit base and cinnamon. So every good recipe starts with its ingredients. So here we have flour, we're going to need 220 grams of, 2 eggs, free range, you just need the yolks. We have 175 grams of unrefined caster sugar, 150 grams of good butter, unsalted, some salt, about a pinch, and the rind of 1 lemon. Righto, we have the zest of 1 lemon and 175 grams of unrefined caster sugar goes into the bowl, 150 grams of room temperature butter. Why room temperature instead of chilled butter in a normal recipe is because we're going to chill the pastry anyway after. The chilled butter isn't going to help anything, we just need to incorporate it now. And then 220 grams, 2 cups flour. Bit of salt. Really get your hands in there, work it in between your fingertips. Incorporate all that lovely butter into the flour, sugar and lemon zest. You can see here it's starting to come together nicely. It doesn't take too long at all. Before you end up with a really short, delicious squidged pastry. Okay, the last bit of flour is just getting bonded in there. It's a little bit crumbly, a little bit short, and this is where the egg comes in. So I'm just going to add 2 egg yolks, like I said, free range egg yolks, and then that's going to stick our pastry together and form this really, really rich, short crust, sweet pastry, as you can see. And that's exactly what we're looking for. It's going to come away from the edges on its own. Okay, so you put it on a greaseproof paper, 2 sheets of, so it's as thick diameter as the tin, twice. So if you get the tin here, 1, 2, you can fit the tin in twice. And the reason for that is because what I like to do is get the pastry flat enough to be able to sit in the pastry case before chilling it. And that makes your life a hell of a lot easier with the rolling out and all of that nonsense. So you press it as flat as humanly possible across both sheets of greaseproof. And then pop in the refrigerator. Okay guys, on to the custard. So we have 18 free range eggs. We're going to take the yolks from. We have some fresh nutmeg to grate. Either use a grater, fine grater or a microplane. 1 litre of double cream and 350 grams of unrefined caster sugar. What we're going to do is we're going to boil the cream now. We're going to whisk the eggs with the sugar, and then we're going to pour the hot cream over the eggs, whisking hard to make a sabayon to fill our pastry case. Okay, so we've got 500 millilitres of double cream. So this is the farm stuff, it's nice and thick and congealed. All those lumps of fat out of the bottle there. A handy tip for that actually is to just put the lid back on, give it a shake, and it will come out. Okay, what we're going to do now is bring this to the boil, and then we're going to separate our eggs, and then we're going to add the boiling cream to our eggs and our sugar. Back right now. Okay, in goes the sugar, and here we have our free range eggs. So I'm just going to split these into whites and yolks. So we need all of them, we need the whole 18. So what we're going to do is I'm going to finish this off, and then you're going to come back in just a sec when the cream's boiled. See you now. Okay, I'm just finishing off this now, so it's nice and glossy. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a little towel underneath this bowl to stop it moving around while we whisk in the cream. So left hand and right hand. And this cream is boiling hot. So the idea is that it's going to start to cook the egg mix as soon as it goes in there. Okay, so we're going to take our pastry case out of the fridge. So this is the pastry we made earlier. I've now lined the tin completely, and it's going to go into the oven. 170 degrees, about 10 minutes. Then we're going to check it. Okay guys, so we have a custard mix that we did earlier. The pastry is blind baked now, nice and crispy. I'm just going to sieve the custard through a little fine sieve there. Filling up the tart case. Now we don't want to fill it too high, so I'm just going to put enough in to take it to the rim centering of the pastry. I've turned the oven down to 130 degrees centigrade. So it's been there for now 10-15 minutes, which means that it's going to be exactly the right heat. Okay. Just sieve some of the foam out of there, and then we've got 2 fresh nutmegs. I'm just going to grate those on top. Okay guys, so we're just going to pop this in the oven now. Remember, it's at 130 degrees, and this is going to go in the oven for approximately 1 hour. I'd say check it at 45 minutes and then leave it in there for up to an hour. So I'm going to put a 45-minute timer on, and then we'll see you when the pie is baked. Okay, the custard tart has been cooling in the oven. We switched the oven off. You leave it to cool in there for about 40 minutes, just with the door open slightly, and then what happens is, yes, it ends up really firm, really set, really delicious. So we're just going to leave this to cool down for the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just so it pulls away from the side naturally. Then we're going to open it and allow it to cool to room temperature. And then we're going to cut it and see what it looks like. See you now. So we're going to be going to a favourite restaurant of mine, Muse. This is in Port Elizabeth. We're going to be speaking to the chef and the pastry chef and finding out what egg custard tart they like the most and why. I bet you it's the milk tart. See you now. Okay guys, here we are at Muse restaurant in PE. I'm about to go and meet Alan the chef and talk about milk tart. This is one of the best restaurants in Port Elizabeth. You can get here too, follow them on Instagram. And now I'll introduce you to the humble milk tart. It's fucking freezing. This restaurant is one of my favourite spots in Port Elizabeth. Okay guys, we're going to go into the Muse kitchen now and meet Chef Alan. Here he is, just running around in the back room there. Okay Alan.
How's it going?
Good to be back, my friend.
Good to see you.
So, what are we doing?
So we're making our take on the milk tart. We're just going to do the milk tart Muse's way.
Okay.
We've got some ingredients here that I'll show you. This is the custard balls.
Brilliant.
This is broken up into the rest of the ingredients with the white chocolate.
Okay.
And obviously we have one that's done because it takes some time to set.
So you melt down the white chocolate,
Melt it down.
the biscuit and the little creme pack goes through it basically, and then
Gets molded and then sets up a bit, and then we have the garnish and the rest of the stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
So
Let's see
we're
what
going to
we've
plate
got.
one.
And then a little bit of
A
gold
little
leaf
gold
there.
leaf to make it look fancy.
Expensive.
And it's very expensive.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lovely. Fantastic.
Thanks,
Well,
guys.
we're going to take that through to the dining room and have a taste, eh?
Of course.
Fantastic.
My way. I'm Alan Note. I'm the chef owner of Muse restaurant in Port Elizabeth.
Thanks for having us at your restaurant. First things first, what's this?
Milk tart.
That's a milk tart.
Muse's style.
Okay, I've never seen a milk tart like this before in my life, or an egg custard or anything. So this is a very sort of modern,
So it's
talk me through it.
It's our take on the milk tart. What we've done is almond savory crust with a palette fillantine.
Very fancy.
I can really not pronounce. White chocolate, then obviously the milk tart custard with some cinnamon, and on top you have a brandy snap garnished with a bit of gold leaf.
Okay, it's very beautiful.
Thank you.
It's very beautiful. So, I mean, you know why I'm here? It's the taste test.
It's the taste
It's
test.
putting it up against this modern British classic, the egg custard, and seeing how we go. But honestly, I've never seen sort of a milk tart this beautiful before, I must say. So,
Is it?
here we go, guys. I've got to say, it is one of the best milk tarts I've tasted. Is it as good as the egg custard? I'm going to have to contemplate it.
There'll always be that gold.
No, of course. But what a fabulous new Beautifully executed, very light version of that classic milk tart. Well done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, Alex. So I've tasted your milk tart. It is different to the milk tarts that I've had, for sure. It is one of the best that I've had in South Africa, without a doubt. Very light mousse, beautiful biscuit base, sable base, and then that brandy snap basket. So, what made you take a classic South African version of a classic British dish and make it as French as you possibly could?
At Muse, that's what we do. We take classic dishes and we change it up a bit. We use different influences to make it look beautiful and present it as artfully as possible on the plate, but sticking to the flavour as far as possible.
Excellent, man, excellent. Tell me, Muse, the name obviously represents quite a lot. We all know what a Muse is. So what inspired you to come up with the name, and what made you open a restaurant like this in little old PE, Port Elizabeth, in the arse end of South Africa, as it were? You know, what inspired you to do that?
So Muse is the brainchild of myself and my wife Simone, who is a pastry chef, obviously. We chose the name because we all know Muse is an inspiration for an artist. We're chefs. Plates are pieces of canvas, and we use food as art. So we decided to open up Muse 5 years ago. We were both in the industry, working corporate industry, and we decided, oh, let's try ourselves and see if we can open something small and make a difference to the food culture in PE. We felt that a lot of good chefs leave Port Elizabeth because it is seen as the arse end of the country.
Yeah, and
Cape Town, Durban, all those places. And we wanted to impact the Eastern Cape with great food and to showcase talented chefs in Port Elizabeth.
I definitely think that you have, my friend. You've definitely influenced, I'd say, a lot of the restaurants on this road in particular. There's a couple of restaurants that aren't here anymore that were, unfortunately, because of this COVID crisis, etc., etc. But you're definitely changing things as far as the small arse end of the world places go, you know, which is great, which is amazing. You know, visiting Port Elizabeth, to have a restaurant like this sort of on a back doorstep while we're staying here, you know, it's excellent for a chef's perspective to have someone who does the same sort of thing as they do, or wants to reach the same sort of goals. So, all credit to you. And to wrap this up, how has COVID been for you and for your business during this time?
From a COVID perspective, it's been rough. We're glad we open again, and we're glad we can trade, and we've had tremendous support from the local guys in PE. Without them, we wouldn't have made it. And I know there's a lot of restaurants out there that's suffering, and the guys just need to keep their heads down and keep going. I believe that 3 months down the line, things will probably be better. So for now, just put it out there, and we'll carry on. We're changing the shop up. We're moving upstairs from downstairs. We're upping our game with what it's going to look like. We're upping the game with the kitchen and what we can produce. So Muse will just keep on changing and progressing as we're going.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for having us. The milk tart, one of the best I've had in the country, like you said. Very unique way of presenting it as well. Well done. Kudos to you for remaining open and getting through the COVID battle. I'm sure everybody here has felt the pinch, as the country has, as the world has actually. So, yeah, good on you, and good luck with the future. Good luck with the new version of the restaurant and the evolution of what have you. It's been great seeing you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What an amazing dessert. Now back to our studio kitchen to taste our egg custard.
Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for, the revealing of this famous custard tart. So, we're going to take this, put it on the board. Open the snap tin, it comes out so easy because we've allowed it to cool down and rest to room temperature. Okay, then I'm going to take, you can do this with a hot knife, but this is just for the home. Ooh, listen to that pastry. Yummy. Now I'm going to get a nice slice out of there because I do love good custard tart. Yo. Look at that. Delicious. And then just have a look inside there. You see it's set. There's still a wobble on it like a panna cotta. Amazing. Well, I'll just grab a fork and let's try something. Oh, there's a reason that classic's a classic, because this is definitely the best custard tart that I've ever tasted. And not because I've made it, just because my grandmother did something so many times, she perfected it. That is the perfect custard tart. Great guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Culinary Culture in this episode. Please see the comment section below for the ingredients and the methods. Next week we'll be talking about the burger and our version, classic version of it, and what you do at home and what a couple of popular restaurants that we're going to visit do as well. See you next week, thank you so much.